The time is now 6 p.m. Our regular City Council meeting for August 9th, 2022 is now in session. First on the agenda is Councilmember Brown would lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas. Please rise.
Good evening, Mayor. Start with the prayer. Lord, thank you for the bounties we enjoy here in our city. Help us as the leaders to make our decisions in the highest interest of our citizens. As we deliberate the budget and the many challenges we face with our limits, know that we look to you for guidance along the process. Our staff has made the hard work look easy, and we thank them for their thoughtful efforts and know that it is now in our hands to move forward. We believe that with your help, we can make the choices that will be seen in the days, months, and years ahead. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. All right, we're going to start off with employee recognition and employee milestone service pins. Dr. Brown.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council and residents. It is my pleasure tonight to be able to present our Service Pin Awards to 5 of our outstanding employees for 20 years of service. I'm going to turn this around. There, so I can see the audience. It is a pleasure to be able to do this. We do this for our long-term employees, and it's always a pleasure to do this, to recognize folks who have invested so much of their lives in our city, and how deeply appreciative we are for them and for all that they've done. So first tonight we have Patty Casas. Come up, Patty. Woo-hoo. Sorry, I should have told you were first. Yeah, I'm doing it in alphabetical order. So Patty is a fantastic employee for the city of Schertz. She started with us in May of 2002. She started with the city as the deputy court clerk, and then she was later promoted to her leadership role in the court as our court administrator. She does a fantastic job at that. Her main duties are to manage and plan the operations of the court, assist the judge with decisions, and generally take care of everything for court operations, and supervises all the staff in our court department. Patty was born and raised in San Antonio, and she received her Level 1 clerk certification in June 2010 and her Level 2 certification in November 2015. And in 2016, she was one of only 45 clerks in Texas to complete the Institute for Court Manager program and became a certified court manager with the National Center for State Courts, which is a big deal and a big honor for Patty, and we're proud of her for that, and that lends a lot of credibility to our courts. She is married to a wonderful supporting husband, who happens to be Manny, right there. Well done, Manny. Thank you. She has 2 daughters and 1 son who's in attendance. What's his name? Alan? Alex. Alex, thank you for being here tonight.
He's just like his father, I'm sorry.
Well, we're glad to have you here tonight. In her spare time, she enjoys crafting, spending time with family, short trips to the coast. Fun facts about herself: she likes organizing or planning small events such as ceremonies, weddings, or parties, just a little fun with luncheons. So Patty is a very versatile employee, and I'll tell you, we are so fortunate to have her over our court system. She does a fantastic job. She works great with our judge, our prosecutor, and all of our staff, and they just do a fantastic job. So I just can't say enough good things about you, Patty. We thank you for your service. Look forward to many more years with you. And it's my privilege to be able to present you with your 20-year So next we have Jimmy Corrales. Jimmy, come forward, please. Jimmy has actually retired from the city, but he earned his 20-year service pin before doing so we wanted to recognize him tonight as well. Jimmy was hired as a firefighter and paramedic in May of 2002, and he was born in San Antonio, Texas, and he was the son of Johnny and Elizabeth Corrales. He has one younger brother named Elias. He traveled quite a bit as a child, but he graduated from Wheatley Middle School and then Fox Tech High. It was always his intent to become a firefighter, so that's always really nice to be able to achieve a lifelong dream, and that's what he wanted to do. But in the 80s, I'm not trying to date you or us or anyone else, but he says that most of the fire departments in San Antonio were still volunteer organizations. So he decided to go a different route in the beginning. He decided to become an EMT, and he did that. He became an EMT, went to San Antonio College, and worked as an EMT for Superior Ambulance in January of 1987. And he did that for several ambulance companies. Eventually, he became a paramedic, went to UTHSC, and he continued in that career path until 1999 when he went to fire school. And he went to the Fire Academy at San Antonio College, and he completed that. He was still working as a full-time paramedic while he was going to fire training. That must have been a challenging time in your life, to say the least. When he graduated, he was hired as a firefighter paramedic for the Universal City Fire Department, and worked there for 2 years, and then he applied and was hired by the city of Schertz. He currently lives in San Antonio with his father and his uncle, who he helps to care for. In his spare time, he likes to read, and he likes to build ship models. That sounds interesting. And he says he wants to focus more on his personal Bible study and try to serve God more fully. So that's a worthy goal, Jimmy. So Jimmy, we appreciate all the work that you did, all the hard work you did for many years in our fire department. A great service, and our department was much better for having you, and we certainly appreciate all that you did. So it's my privilege to be able to present your 20 years.
I was never a very good public speaker, which is a very good thing. So I had actually put my videos on some of the guys that actually got it and kind of get what you say. Because while I've worked 20 years for the city of Schertz, this marks the end to almost 36 years of career. It makes it really fun. First, I want to thank you all and all it represents for 20 years of the best job I ever had. I want to thank all the people sitting behind me. The job it is to run the city, for making the job really good one. I've worked many places. Never have I worked in a city that cared for its employees the way this one is. I want to thank you all, the audience, the citizens, the city of Schertz, for your support, as well as the people behind me for their support all these years.
Very good. Thank you, Jimmy. All right, Aaron, it's your turn. The support from the team there. That's what I like. Congratulations. Thank you. Aaron Dahman has worked for us as well for 20 years. He's a serviceman too in our Public Works Department. These folks work so hard every day. I just can't tell you how hard our servicemen 1 and 2s work for the city. They're out there in the hot sun. They're repairing our mainline breaks. They're working on very hot jobs, and they do a fantastic job keeping our water system running. And it's pretty transparent, I think, to most of our residents, because every time you turn that faucet on, it comes on, and they just do a great job. But it's difficult, and so I want to salute you and thank you for that, and tell you how much we appreciate all that you do. He does maintain our water and wastewater systems. He repairs water mains and keeps the water services online. He was born in Seguin, Texas, and he's an Eagle Scout, so congratulations for that. That's an awesome achievement. Graduate of Samuel Clemens High School. He married his wife, Kaylee, who's with us in January of 2005, so congratulations. We're so glad to have you with us here. And he's a past master of the Guadalupe Masonic Lodge, number 109 in Seguin, Texas. His family, his mom, Ethel, his wife, Kaylee, is here. His mother-in-law, Charlene Smith, is here. Welcome. And his brother-in-law, Jason, is here. So welcome to you all. Thank you for attending with us today. His hobbies include welding and making YouTube videos. So that's an interesting mix of hobbies, welding and YouTube. He likes to spend time with his wife at state and local parks and whatever else they would like to go and see and do. He loves to take care of his dogs and go to Rockport when he can. So Aaron, again, thanks for everything you do. Really appreciate what your crews do on a daily basis, and just appreciate everything that you contribute to our city. So it's my privilege to present you with your 20-year. Thank you. All right, Virgil, your turn. Congratulations. Good job. It's great to see the team members out here. I really do appreciate you all being here tonight, and it's fantastic to see you here. So, Virgil Jones started with the City of Schertz in June of 2002. He's currently the lieutenant over support services, and that includes dispatch, IT, and the records division in the police department. He's worked in many organizations in our city, including patrol. He was a corporal in patrol, a corporal in investigations, a sergeant in investigations, a lieutenant in investigations, and now the lieutenant over support services. He holds the Master Peace Officer license designation. He's accident reconstruction certified. He's field training officer certified. He's an ACOG investigator, holds the ACOG investigator certificate. He won Detective of the Year 4 years in a row for the city. He was born and raised in San Antonio, graduated from John Marshall High School. He's currently working on a degree in criminal justice. And get this, since he's been at the age of 16, he's only had 4 jobs. And that's for Best Products, Bexar County Constable Precinct 2, the city of Balcones Heights, which is where he was as a police officer before he came here, and the city of Schertz. So I think that speaks well for your commitment, your dedication, and your staying power. He's married. He has a 14-year-old son, Ashton, and a 25-year-old daughter, Jenna. And in his spare time, he likes to read science fiction novels. So that's about it. Virgil does a great job in our police department. Worked for a long time as a detective, and was a mainstay in that department, and now over support services. But we really appreciate all that you've done. The many years you've contributed. We had lunch yesterday. Got to hear some good stories. We always get to hear some good stories, and that's always fun and interesting. So exactly. So Virgil, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Well, I just want to thank everyone and council for all the support over the years. It means a lot, especially coming from 2 departments. Once I started working with Schertz, I knew I was going to retire here at the moment. According to Manny, as soon as I met Manny, I knew I was going to retire here. So, but in 20 years, I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, and honestly, there's nowhere else I'd rather be right now than right here. So, thank you.
Steve Solito, it's your turn. Congratulations. Well, again, another great employee that we can recognize, Steve Solito. He's currently a patrol sergeant assigned to the day shift. He started in 2002, promoted to corporal in 2006, and sergeant in 2009. Spent 3 years in investigations along the way. Transferred to day shift in July of 2016, went to animal services in 2019, then back to patrol in 2020, and he says he still can't get used to getting up at 4:30 a.m., so we can probably sympathize with that. He's been involved in many IT projects for the city, including e-citation, the records management system, sign trailers, and he's currently in charge of the Honor Guard. If you've ever seen the Honor Guard perform, they do a fantastic job. So thank you for that. That really adds to our ceremonies. Deeply appreciated. He lives in New Braunfels with his wife, and she is the dispatch manager for Texas State University Police Department, so law enforcement runs in the family. They have 2 kids, aged 12 and 14, and 2 older ones, ages 21 and 23, and he says much of their life revolves around the club soccer schedule. I'm sure some others in here can sympathize with that. And you say you love your Jeep, and you say you spend time rock crawling with her. You call her her. So does she have a name, or is it just, okay, just her. So
I've called her a few bad names over the
okay.
years. Stuff happens.
So describe rock crawling for us. Could you just give us a little?
Up rock, over rock, down rock. Drive 2 days to another state.
We practice that.
Yeah. Drive 2 days to another state, to drive around for 3 days, turn around and drive home.
So is there like a course, or do you just find rocks to
You just
crawl
find
over?
bigger rocks.
Okay. And this is,
Now, in Texas, everything's private property, so you have to pay to.
oh, you got to pay.
In
Okay.
Utah, there's a lot of public land. Sometimes.
He's-
The ice water is when it's hot on the highway.
Anyway, I have to say that's one of the most unique hobbies I've seen in these awards, so congratulations on that. He's the president of San Antonio Jeep Exclusive, a nonprofit corporation who does charity work for the Arms of Hope and organizes other off-road activities. He's also a trail guide for Jeep Jamboree USA. So you're a versatile man. You have a lot of interests and activities. We just thank you for all you do out there protecting our city every day, doing great things for all of our citizens, preserving our safety, and we appreciate that. We look forward to more years with you in the future. So, thank you, Steve. My privilege to present that to you.
I'm not near as eloquent as Jimmy is, but I will say 20 years, 20 years, 7 police chiefs, 6 city managers, and only 3 mayors. So it's been a pretty good ride. The city's been really great to me. I appreciate it. Everyone behind me, everyone in front of me, everyone I work with. Somewhere between 6 and 10 more, and then we'll see where we go. Thank you.
Again, congratulations to all of our award winners, and we again really appreciate your service. Thank you very much.
I just want to say thank you, Steve, Patty, Aaron, Virgil, and Jimmy for your contributions and your service to our city. And 20 years is a milestone. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll continue with city announcements and events, announcements of upcoming events. Mr. James?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to let folks know, this Friday, August 19th is the Caterpillar Chamber Bowl. That's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Fiesta Lanes in New Braunfels. I believe the city council is going to have a team up there. Our next regular council meeting is Tuesday, August 23rd, 6 p.m. here in council chambers. And just a reminder about the election. Filing for place on the ballot has begun for the November 8th, 2022 City of Schertz joint general election to elect a mayor and council members in places 1 and 2 for 3-year terms from November 2022 and ending November 2025. Filing ends on August 22nd, 2022 at 5 p.m. and candidates can pick up packets online at the city's website and can be obtained from the city secretary's office at 1400 Schertz Parkway, building number 2.
Thank you, Mr. James. Announcements and recognitions by the city manager. Dr. Brown?
I have nothing further tonight, Mayor.
Announcements and recognitions by the mayor. I have none, so we'll move on to the hearing of residents. This time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the city council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council. For the record, please state your name and address. Mayor Pro Tem, please call our first speaker.
Mayor, our first speaker would be Dana Eldridge. They are out of the area and asked me to read a statement for them. They wanted to pass on commendations to Officer Ryan McAllister and Corporal Megan Finnessy. They provided invaluable aid in the wellness check last Wednesday. Also, a 4-man crew from the fire department who made entry into the house without damage to give aid, so aid could be given. Unfortunately, a death had occurred, but all were extremely professional and courteous in getting the situation handled. Thanks to all, Dana and Kathy Eldridge, and the homeowners, Chris and Alan Hickox. And our next speaker is Ferrando Hayward.
That would be me, 2628 Hansel Heights. Okay, I want to speak regarding the budget meeting. I wrote things down to make sure I didn't go over. First, give praise in public, chastise in private. So it's public, so it's going to be praise. I want to give flowers and kudos regarding the budget meeting. Well done to all. Mayor Gutierrez, you had 321, if I said that right, compression, 421, okay, is good. And he's not here, but also for Walter James, there you go. Brian James, you shouldn't have the same name.
James.
Because actually, when I go with Allison to different things, he's well known around the different cities and states. So the next thing I'm going to say, I have full confidence the city of Schertz will not be in financial trouble with him running the show. So with that said, now the important part about the budget meeting that you had, our city budget pay was kind of top heavy, and it didn't go unnoticed by the residents, and I'm certain that the workers, they knew full and well. So that budget meeting is definitely a step in the right direction. We talk about turnover, and you hear me and the rest, oh, there he is back there. I was giving you your flowers. People in the back row, we talk about the turnover. Okay, workers don't leave for salary alone. They leave when they feel unvalued. And seeing a big gap, they feel unvalued and not getting what they need. So department heads left, but I want to tell the message for the department heads, if any's here, keep asking for what you need. Don't have your workers be overworked. Ask what you need, and the tough decisions will be made. Don't hold yourself short. Taxpayers such as myself, we're going to complain regardless. That's a given. I did budget for the Navy when we had a cut by half of our fuel budget. All the captains that I had to tell, who were friends, hey, you're not getting the money that you need to get ready for deployment because you're 2 steps behind. So don't worry about that. Citizens are going to complain more so than anything when they don't have the services that they want. The money that they pay for salaries, they're going to complain, but when they don't have the services they want, they're going to really complain, okay? Now remember, city council, here's how it works. The city manager works for you, the department heads work for him, the workers work for the department heads, and the workers work for the citizens. So that's my part. Ball's in your court, city council. Now y'all have a tough job.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to consent agenda items. They're considered self-explanatory, and information packets are provided to council and available for public viewing. These items require no separate discussion unless requested by council. Item number 1, the approval of the minutes of our regular meeting on August 2nd, 2022. Item number 2, ordinance number 22M40, an ordinance by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, amending the City of Schertz Code of Ordinances and certain other ordinances by amending and establishing fees for certain licenses, permits, and other services provided by the City of Schertz. This is our final reading. Item number 3, boards, commissions, and committees. Appointment of Mr. Patrick Holmes as a regular member to the Historical Preservation Committee. Mayor Pro Tem, please continue reading the remaining consent agenda items.
Item number 4, ordinance number 22T34, an ordinance by the City of Schertz Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing an adjustment to the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget to provide funding for construction related to Corbett Ground Storage Tank, repealing all ordinances and ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict with this ordinance and providing an effective date. Final reading. Resolution, item number 5, resolution number 22R79, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing the city manager to sign a letter of intent with Sterling McCall Ford for the purchase of 1 new ambulance for fiscal year 2023-2024 and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 6, resolution number 22R75, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a contract with Pasado Construction Company Incorporated related to the Corbett Ground Storage Tank project and authorizing the budget expenditures for the project.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council, do any of these need to be removed for separate action? Is there a motion to approve consent agenda? Okay.
Second.
We have motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward and second by Councilmember Brown. Any other further discussion?
Gagliola.
Oh, that was Scagliola.
We're similar.
Sounds the same from this end. Okay, Council, any other comments?
No.
Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to item number 7. Resolution number 22R63, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing expenditures in the amount not to exceed $891,500 for the purchase of Pierce pumper truck as part of the 2023-2024 Vehicle Equipment Replacement Program. Ms. Williams, floor is yours.
Hi, Suzanne Williams, the Director of Public Works, the City of Schertz. I'm here basically with the new world we live in, with the new market challenges. We are seeing 24 to 25 months out to receive fire engines, similar to what you just approved for the ambulance. This particular pumper truck is in the vehicle replacement plan, although it's in next year. What we'd like to do is have your approval to go ahead and order it this year to help start chipping away at that 24 to 25 year wait list. And I can answer any other questions if you'd like.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Council, floor is open for discussion. Is there a motion?
Yeah, hold on a second. How about singing us a good tune about how this is going to help the city because of its expanded capabilities?
If we don't buy it now, then of course that's going to affect the replacement. I believe you need it.
First, Chief, what is a pumper truck?
We talked earlier, it's basically your standard fire truck, not a ladder truck. It goes on the vast majority of your calls, gets most of your miles and your wear and tear. It's basically the one when you, at the end of the day, the hose is coming off to go fight the fire from that apparatus and those people. Lots of EMS calls as well. It was due to be replaced in the following year. Due to the lag time that we mentioned, it would not be on time if we waited till next year. Additionally, a little factor in there is the manufacturer usually goes up at least once a year on their prices. So going into there now would put us in probably somewhere around a 7 to 10% savings locked in if we sign earlier than what we would expect. Not to say that that couldn't change. I'm sure there's some fine print in the contract.
Councilman Scagliola?
That's a legitimate answer.
Is there a motion to approve?
Still move.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Scagliola, second by Councilmember Davis. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
We have 7 ayes, no objection, motion passes. Thank you. 6 ayes, no objections.
You're having a bad day today, Mayor.
Oh, there's an empty spot over here, that's why. Okay, we'll move on. Item number 8, resolution number 22R76, approving a resolution by the Schertz City Council, approving a bond resolution previously adopted by the Board of Directors of the Schertz-Seguin Local Government Corporation, authorizing the issuance of obligations designated as Schertz-Seguin Local Government Corporation Contract Revenue Improvement Bonds, New Series 2022A, acknowledging that these bonds will be sold pursuant to the provisions of a purchase contract, ratifying, reconfirming, and readopting the provisions of a regional water supply contract executed between the City of Schertz, Texas, the City of Seguin, Texas, and the Schertz-Seguin Local Government Corporation, authorizing the mayor the city manager, and the city secretary of the city of Schertz, Texas, to execute on behalf of the city of Schertz, Texas, all documents in connection with this transaction and other matters in connection therewith. Mr. James?
Let her speak, but
Okay.
essentially, SSLGC is issuing bonds. You have to approve that, and I'll turn it over for the details.
Sure. Mayor, City Council members, my name is Stephanie Leiby. I'm a partner with Norton Rose Fulbright. Our firm provides bond counsel services both to the City of Schertz and to Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation. And so what you have before you is a resolution that acknowledges that Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation will go into the market to sell bonds to finance some infrastructure projects that they currently need. The use of these bond proceeds will be used for preliminary work for Convey and Elm Creek pipeline projects that the corporation is going to undertake. The corporation approved their bond resolution on July 21st of 2022. The City of Seguin adopted their resolution on August 2nd, 2022, and then we're before you all tonight to obtain approval for the City of Schertz. If you all approve and say that the bond sale can move forward, the corporation anticipates that they'll sell their bonds next week pursuant to a negotiated sale. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, either about the resolution that's before you or the contemplated financing.
Thank you. The only thing that was missing on it was the amount. Was that 4.5 million?
So the amount is $4.5 million.
Okay. Council, questions? Councilmember Scagliola.
Let me just say, I sit as the ex officio for SSLGC, and it seemed like a long caption to be reading here. The truth of the matter is we've been discussing the need for these bonds for a number of months now. In Texas, oil will make you rich, but you can't grow a community without water. And we should be so appreciative to SSLGC. The management is in my opinion, absolutely superb. They've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. And I make a recommendation, we approve Resolution 22R.
You have to.
Oh, I move the City Council approve a resolution approving a bond resolution previously adopted by the Board of Directors of the Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation, authorizing the issuance of bonds designated as Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation Contract Revenue Improvement Bonds, New Series 2022 Alpha.
Second.
Excuse me, we have a motion made by Councilmember Scagliola, second by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Council, any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 9, resolution number 22R82, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a preliminary maximum tax rate for fiscal year 2022 and 2023 and other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Walters, you have the floor.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is James Walters. I'm the Finance Director for the City of Schertz. Get my PowerPoint up here. And for the people watching at home, I will go through some of the preliminary information that we got and we went over on Friday, including how the appraised tax rolls came in, what the state mandated tax rates were calculated at, and work through what we had talked about. So for the proposed tax rate, to give an idea, this is the current tax rate breakdown for city, school, county, and if you're in Bear County, you also get, college, Universal Health System, San Antonio River Authority on top of that. But this shows how much of your tax bill actually goes to the city versus the other entities. So for this year, the property values came in. So last year, the taxable value was $4.1 billion. Those same properties are now worth $4.6 billion, so $550 million increase in value alone, and then we added $116 million of brand new construction for a total value of $4.7 billion, overall increase of $650 million. So then we take those dollar amounts, and the state has us calculate a couple different tax rates. First is the no new revenue tax rate. So if you received a city bill last year, if we went with the no new revenue rate, your tax bill would be the exact same as it was next year. So basically, the city would raise the exact same amount of taxes on properties that were in both years. The second one is the voter approval rate. So council can adopt up to this rate, and if they go higher, if they want to go higher, it would automatically trigger an election this November. I'll also show you the current rate and the proposed max. So the current rate is 0.5121. The no new revenue rate was 0.4526. The first voter approval rate is 0.4721. And if we use all of our unused tax rates from the past 3 years, we can actually go up to 0.5094. So part of when the state did Senate Bill 2, they limited cities to go up only about 3.5% on their M&O. If cities didn't take that full amount, we got to bank that difference and save it for potential use later on. We can only bank 3 years, so if we use up our 3-year bank, we can actually go up to 5094 as our maximum can go up without an election. We had talked preliminary on Friday that the proposed maximum be 0.4999. So 1 penny on this is equal to about $477,000 of revenue, or about $29.48 on the average home annually. So how that would break down at the 4999 versus what we see today at the tax rate. M&O would go up slightly to 3519. INS would decrease to 1480. So the INS just goes to pay the city debt. So every penny, every dollar raised from that tax rate, solely to pay the debt down. M&O is maintenance and operations, and that pays for the day-to-day operations of the city. So what that looks like as far as the estimated impacts. So no new revenue rate, the estimated tax bill will be $1,334. We go to the voter approval of 4.7, that'd be $1,392, about a $57 increase. If we use the full increment of 5094, it's about a $167 increase. We go to the proposed 4999, it's a $139 increase, or effectively a 10.4% increase on the tax rate, or the tax bill. Current, we just put that up there for a demonstration. Can't actually go to that rate without triggering an election. The estimated taxable value of homes for 2022 in the city of Schertz is $294,800. And those bill increase amounts are annual amounts. So it's not per month, that's annually. So historically, this has been our M&O, the maintenance and operations that pays for the general fund services, general city services. With the proposed rate of 0.4999, it will remain about the same, not much change. The INS rate would drop to 14.8. That's the lowest rate it's been since 2006. And then combined, we would drop from 51.21 to 49.99. M&O remaining roughly the same and INS dropping. So what staff is looking for tonight is council to set a preliminary tax rate. This is the tax rate that will go on the notices for public hearing. Any rate less than that, we can still adopt. No issues there. If council wanted to adopt a rate higher than the one they set tonight, we would have to republish notices and hold additional public hearings. So it could push back the schedule or have us call special council meetings or meet the state recommended guidelines or state mandated guidelines, I'm sorry. So if we adopt the 0.499 rate or anything higher than 0.4665, staff will prepare some information on expanded programs, update a recommendation list, and bring this back to council on August 23rd with some updated plan changes to the budget that we originally submitted for tonight. Does council have any questions over the tax rate? Or
Thank you, Mr. Walters. Council, floor is open for discussion.
Say we stick with the .499 as discussed on Friday.
So, was that a motion? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Yes, I'll make, but I think David has something to say. But yes, that's a motion for 4999.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Haywood, second by Councilmember Dalla. Councilmember Scagliola, you have some questions.
Yeah, you know I got to speak up during budget time. It's my opportunity to get dysfunctional. I was looking at the numbers, and, you know, quite frankly, we're going through a bit of a transition right now. The 4% rate, yeah, okay, a little bit too low. But this 0.4999, you know, 10% rate, yeah, to me, I'm an analyst, but a lot of times I do things on the back of an envelope and come up with a kind of a generic feel. I could be comfortable with a 6% increase, but 10% seemed a little bit high. Now understand that we could theoretically come back or down from the 0.499. You just can't go up. Understand that. Quite frankly, the only problem I have with that is traditionally, once you set the higher rate, you find a rationale to spend up to the higher rate. There's no incentive, really, for cutting it back down all that much, historically speaking. I would very much like to challenge the staff to reevaluate some of the numbers. We are approving a lot of the wants and needs and desires of the staff and the employees within this 0.4999. I'm just, I think we're being a little bit too generous sometimes with the wants and the desires versus the actual needs of running a municipality. And you've heard me sing this song over and over and over again. There are opportunities for changing certain things. One of the things I'd like to see changed is the on our pay. You know, people talk about a cafeteria style opportunity for employees to take certain benefits or turn certain benefits down. Like to explore with HR the opportunity to maybe translate some of those benefits into cold hard cash that people can see in their paycheck versus being matched further down the road come retirement time. I know a lot of younger people don't even think retirement is an option for them. It may happen someday, but they want to see the money now. So I think it's a good idea to actually look at our pay and the health care that's provided by the city. And there's certain other situations in there that the staffing of the city, do we have enough people to do the job? Well, the answer to that is obviously no, but the real question that should be asked is, do we have enough people to do what is needed to actually run a municipality? So I'm not going to stand in the way of the 0.4999, but I would challenge staff to actually take a look and see what is actually needed by this city. I know you do a conservative estimate. You used to use that verbiage. Conservative, okay. I know that it means worst case scenario. You know, the sky is falling sometimes, and just in case, we need to make sure that we don't put the city into a bind if things don't turn out optimistically. I understand that's a concern. And I really do appreciate all the work that went into putting this budget together. You did absolutely a superb job, and I appreciate that. And that's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Dalla.
Just want to make a real quick comment to kind of tag on to what Mr. Scaglioli said about the cafeteria plan. I know it's kind of come up in conversations a couple of times before, and obviously it's too late in the budget process for this year, but it's something that I think we ought to start thinking about and taking a hard look at for next year to see if that is a viable option for our city employees, and that's really the only comment I have. I think y'all did a great job on the budget, and I'm happy with where we're coming out on it.
Councilmember Whitaker.
For this item, I just want to reiterate that we're just talking about setting a max. So I think the budget retreat last Friday went really well. It was a lot of great information, and I think it sounded like we were all comfortable with getting the items on the list that would not require us to go all the way up to the .499, but this agenda item is just setting that max. So I just wanted to clarify that. I also wanted to say at this point, pretty much no matter how you look at it, there's probably going to be an increase in people's bills, their tax bills, and I thought you did a good job of illustrating that in your presentation. It's going to depend on their individual property, whether or not they have filed for the homestead exemption. So I encourage residents to look at their appraisal district records and see whether or not they have the homestead exemption applied to their property. It does make a difference. So there's no guarantee what we set their rate, how that's going to fluctuate their bill. It really does depend on what the value put on their property based on the appraisal district. Some people's values went way up and some did not. Some people protested their values and some people didn't. So, but I think all in all, there's probably going to be an increase in their bill this year, just based on what we're talking about. And before we get to all of those details, I wanted to point out that, you know, over the last 2 years, as I've sat on council and listened to what residents are saying, what staff is saying, there do seem to be some items that are repetitive in nature, needs that haven't been met. And I think any city probably struggles with the balance between protecting residents, their assets, their money, you know, and keeping their tax bills low, but also providing the services. I think there's several areas that we seem to be falling behind on, and there is going to be a point where we have to kind of get caught up. And I think we've done a good job of really trying to protect our residents and keeping their tax bills low. But I do think that it's going to be time that we are going to need to see necessarily an increase in that. So whatever finalized rate we come to is going to probably end up in an increased bill. But it's, you know, I trust the staff. I think you guys have done a great job. Obviously, the list of priorities were very well thought out. Takes a while to go through all of that. I think it's our job to put our trust in the staff and say, what do you need, and listen to what you're saying, and you know, just kind of double check. But I do trust that you guys have put that effort into it, and so the list that you say this is what you do need, I trust that that's what you need. So I just wanted to say thank you for the time that you've put into presenting that. I look at my role as to just kind of a quick double check over, you know, the things. I don't want to micromanage you guys, because I feel like, I mean, I'm not qualified to do that. So just for setting the maximum tax rate, I'm fine with the .4999. I don't think that we're going to get, I think it'll end up being a little bit lower. And I think what we need to do is figure out what our needs are, set the cut line for the needs, and then whatever the tax rate ends up being, I think that's what it needs to be to make sure our needs are met. So, but thank you for what you've been doing.
Council, any other comments? Oh, I have a couple comments. As the council pointed out, this is a maximum rate that we are approving, and it won't go any higher than this, but it can get lower. And I think there's a small challenge here from the council to our staff to let's try to bring it down a little more if we can, to try to just lessen the burden on our residents, because if you saw the tax rate, when you combine everything, the school tax, the city tax, the county tax, it becomes a burden, especially if you're in Bexar County. You're looking at about a little over $10,000 in property tax at the end of the year. So if we can help, it would surely be appreciated. With that, we do have a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward and second by Councilmember Dalla. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Nay.
We have 5 ayes, 1 objection, motion passes. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 10. It's a workshop. Workshop discussion on the proposed FY 2022, FY 2023 budget. Mr. Walters, floor is yours.
All right. Good evening. Based on the new information, we'll come back with recommended changes to the budget at the next council meeting. For now, I'd like to run through just sort of the base starting point that we had, just for the citizens at home that are watching or come back and watch the video so they can see what, at least what we're starting with before we come back with another look at it. So I'll try to be brief but comprehensive, and it's a shorter presentation than we saw on Friday. So what we took into this budget was we had more sales tax realized than expected. Based on the challenges came to staff, we were more aggressive on revenue projections, particularly sales taxes. We're also more aggressive on expense projections. So after departments put everything in, we went back in afterwards and cut all the lines by additional 2%. We usually come in under budget, you know, as we have historically, so we don't believe this will affect services, but we'll be able to capitalize and use some of those funds in the current year. So all this provides additional reoccurring funding. So we had a pre-budget retreat. Some of the items that priorities that we set were infrastructure, CIP planning, new construction of facilities, and compensation adjustments, and increased staffing levels, which we believe we hit with the proposal pretty well. The expanded programs, overall, we have a wage adjustment proposal, we have new personnel, additional SPAM funding, which is road repair, Building 27 parking lot, some IT upgrades for internet and fiber capabilities, some software for purchasing and PD to help operations, as well as a library board proposal that we'll consider and were approved. So briefly on the wage adjustment proposal. So we're going to change up our normal. Normally it's a merit program based on annual evaluations. This year, as a trial basis, we're going to a 4-2-1 plan, which is the lower 60% of folks in the city get 4%, the next band gets 2%, and then 75 and higher get 1%. No evaluation needed. That'll be automatic on October 1. Coupled with that is an ECI. So employer cost index, basically it's the like a specific CPI adjustment just for wages in the local government sector. Both of those will go into effect on October 1 as proposed. So the new personnel, there's 15 positions in the general fund. We're going to try to open Fire Station 4 in a couple years, so we want to get firefighters on now and get them trained so we don't have 12 brand new positions, brand new people trying to staff a station. This will help with overtime as well, as we'll have people to backfill. We also have a fire inspector to help catch up on inspections, fire safety inspections that we aren't quite getting to this year. Also free up some of our fire marshal to go do some more development plans, help with our development process. Engineering, an engineering inspector to help inspect the city's projects and capital, make sure everything's done right. It'll save us some money in the long run if we catch errors now, then have to go back and fix a road that wasn't done correctly. As well as an engineer to help us with all of the ARPA funds, the government funds that we got due to the COVID pandemic. IT, a public safety technician. Our public safety is growing. We're opening another fire station. Right now I have one person solely dedicated to public safety, some of our largest areas with very IT heavy. So this will be helping out over there. Parks maintenance technician, we keep adding parkland. This will help us maintain our parks and put on events. Planning community development, a plans examiner, keep those plans moving and development moving in the city of Schertz. Under police, we have 2 SROs. Those are student resource officers. Those are requested by the school district that will be stationed at schools. And they're also paid for by the school district. 1 traffic officer to help us on patrol, and the record specialist to help with all the record requests coming in. Under the fleet, we have a parts clerk, lube tech. That's 1 position. This will be more of a specialized position. Just focus on getting parts from stores and their free time doing some simple lube jobs where our highly trained mechanics will be able to focus on our fleet and provide those needed repairs. On the library, a part-time programming specialist. Our programs at the library are constantly full and overflowing. There's a big demand for additional programming. This person will help manage the existing programming and potentially open up some new programming opportunities. And then in EMS, 8 new positions for a phased-in approach. This will help us big time, going from 24-hour shifts, so like one person works 24 hours in a row, to 12-hour shifts. So it does require new bodies, but it'll save us on overtime, as well as be able to staff additional trucks with these 8 new folks. During peak times, we'll bring more transports, more revenue. We'll try to keep this as cost neutral as possible, and EMS will work with finance and HR to try to plan when these new folks will be hired so they won't affect the budget. For the additional spam funding, this is what I mentioned before. Right now we have a base of $400,000. We'll bring it to $650,000. Right now we have a grassy lot. This is the 27 lot surfacing. It's about $200,000 to pave that in, provide additional parking and storage for our fleet and equipment. The IT upgrades includes internet, so we're going to get upgrade our GVEC internet access. We have multiple internet providers, so if one goes down, we can just swap over to another one and keep on running. We also have a fiber connection from City Hall over to the library. It's getting pretty old, time to replace and upgrade. New software is e-procurement and contract management software. We believe being able to have contractors submit digitally their plans. Right now they have to do it by mail due to state regulations on when we can open them and view them and score them. While it's $10,000 for the software, by getting more bids, we could potentially find better bidders and get better bids, thereby saving the city money in the long run. Under the record management system software, don't know the full cost of it yet. We're earmarking $50,000. Just kind of go forward and start the process of looking at it. This software is the records management for our police department. So everything goes in there from complaints, requests, geodata, and right now the one we have is hard to get data out of it in a timely manner and what we want. So right now we're partnering with another entity. It's not going as expected, so we're going to look for other solutions, and we'll come back to council with our recommendation. The library board, so the children's audio books, we'll do $5,000 from the general fund, another $5,000 from the library advisory board. So we'll basically replace our existing collection and then double it. We're also going to bring back the hotspot program. We're going to start with 11 hotspots that can be checked out from the library. And then EMS, we have the 8 new folks we mentioned, as well as the mental health service K-9, a lot of public safety, EMS, police, fire. Very stressful job with what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis when they go to an accident or other events happen that are while they're on duty. This K-9 can help identify people that are by holding too much stuff in, and we can identify securely and offer them help that they may need, that they may not even know they need. Under the enterprise funds, the water and sewer, we have Tyler Notify, so we'll be able to send text message updates for utility bills, late notices, and turn-off notices. This could actually save us paper. We get these notices out first, get people in, maybe they forgot their bill, or maybe it went through their email and didn't see it, or it was in the trash, or in the mail, and they just kind of accidentally put it in their trash with some other spam mail they get. This will come to the phones and be able to remind folks that, hey, something's coming due. You can come here to pay your bill. We have the Water Gem software, which will be a model program that will allow us to update how our water system works whenever we add infrastructure. So normally we get a model every 5 to 10 years, should be 5, with our water and sewer master plan update. They turn around and look at what all our system has and tell us, we think it's going to grow this way and this is what you'll need. With this software, we'll be able to make those updates ourselves and kind of keep an updated model so we know exactly where water and sewer needs are as we grow. We have a mobile bypass pump. Basically, if a sewer or a lift station goes down, we can bring this pump out and get it back up and running until we can fix the lift station. So the base general fund proposed budget was $42,800,000, increased 7.1% from the previous year's original adopted budget. Non-personnel increased 2.7%, and the personnel budget increased 11.2%. So this is a historic graph of the budgets going back 10 years. Sales tax is one thing I pointed out, and I wanted to mention here. Between 2013 and 2019, sales tax, while grew fairly effectively, was up and down, up and down, up and down. That made us real hard to really commit to a higher standard increase. But since 2020, like where we're looking at, hey, we have all this extra money we're coming in, you know, what's going on? The past 4 years, we've gone up about $4 million. We were a little slow recognizing the fact that it's growing that fast. We're being more aggressive in the year-end projections this year, which are next year's budgets based on, as well as increasing the budget estimate for this number. And that's where that combined with our 2% cuts across the board and other cost-saving measures is where a lot of those positions were funded from. So the general fund budget assumes a 26% fund balance requirement. We'll try to get there over the next 5 years. Really, we're going to get there in about 4, following the forecast. Right now, about 30.5. We have been decreasing each year. 30 is the lowest we've gotten. It's just not going as fast as we had planned, but we're going to get there a year earlier than we had before. And with the INS rate of 0.1480, that encompasses all of the planned debt issuances through the rest of the 2020s, including the ones we just issued for 1518, Fire Station 4, FM 3009 extension in Main Street. We plan one next year for Main Street, general infrastructure bond in 25, public safety buildings in 26, 27, and more infrastructure of 15 million in 29. So we believe without raising the tax rate, we'll be able to fund all of these at 1480. And potentially do some tax rate swaps toward the end where we lower the rate and add additional money to streets. If we can work that in, we'll try to. So as far as the debt service payments, this is what it'll look like. We're a little high. Actually taking some funds out of our reserves to pay for the current debt service over the next 2 years. We'll even out. And then basically that's the general line we're playing with when we schedule those upcoming debt issuances.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. Council, questions? Councilmember Whitaker.
Mr. Walters, I just want to say, so you're the money guy, right?
I help with the money. Departments do all the work. I just collect all their information.
I just want to say how impressed I am. I'm sitting here listening to everything you're saying. I'm like, this is the money guy, and you are able to identify each one of these items, what they are, what the need is, why it's beneficial. It's just very impressive, which is one of the reasons I feel like, you know, you allow me to have a lot of faith in the staff, because if you know that much and you're the money guy, they have been able to communicate that with you, which is what we need. We need, you know, a single point to listen to the big picture, where it's, you know, the details of each item, why it's necessary. I mean, I'm sure we could dig into it, but I just appreciate your thoroughness and your understanding of each one of those items and being able to communicate that to us. So very nice presentation, even though I heard it before, but I was like, I think I understand it even better this time around. And just thank you for being able to present that to us in such a clear and concise fashion.
Any other comments, Council? Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, I love the pretty pictures. Hey, bring up the sales tax slide, please. Okay, I teach a class in statistics, and I talk about misleading slides, and that yellow line is very, very misleading. Revenues are not going down, or the sales taxes are not going down. They're not depreciating. What I suggest is to put another line in there with a 3-year running average to show the upward trend for the sales tax revenues. That's one of the things. And the other big problem I have is I'll come out right out and say it. I don't agree with the Main Street project, $11 million. I know that 1 penny is, I think, somewhere around $475,000 nowadays on the tax rolls. So I don't even need to do the math at $475,000 per penny to come up with how much that Main Street is costing, not only the city, but also the residents. It's quite a big chunk. Quite frankly, I'm a big proponent of capitalism. Hey, let the market rule. If the business environment is such that Main Street becomes a viable option, then I believe it will happen without us trying to push the bus down the road with flat tires. And that's about all I have. Thank you, sir.
Council, any other comments? Councilmember Davis.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the Main Street thing. You know, we don't make the businesses up on Interstate 35 pay to replace their water lines and replace their sewer lines or individually repave their road. It looks like it's a lot of money, but the reality of it is, you know, the city goes through a very comprehensive plan to evaluate all the street surfaces throughout the entire city and develop a plan to take care of those roads in an efficient manner. Whether it's taking one that's really bad and doing a mill and overlay, or whether it's doing something as simple as crack sealing so that it does not get exposed to the elements and degrade even faster. You know, and we keep on talking about Main Street like all of this money is there to help the businesses down there. The reality of it is that street under the PCI index is one of the worst roads in the city, and it needs to get redone. And that's part of that bond money to get that part done. It makes absolutely no sense to do a mill and overlay and rebuild that street so that in another year or two, we can dig it back up and replace a broken water line or a failing sewer line. So when we see those dollars on there, this is just not about business development on Main Street. It's taking care of infrastructure in the city that needs to be taken care of. Water lines, sewer lines, and street. And those are the big ticket items of that whole project. Putting park benches out along Main Street is a couple $1,000s, and we can do that out of the general fund. But there's nothing available in the general fund right now that allows us to take care of any of that other infrastructure. And I have to tip my hat to the city staff for coming back with the mindset of, if we're going to do anything on Main Street, and I mean anything, then we might as well do it right. And we shouldn't have to turn around and kick this can down the road for the next 10 years, and we shouldn't have to piecemeal it and do something that we're going to have to turn around and redo again in another year and do it over and over and over again. So, you know, we keep on bringing up Main Street, but again, I think that it has to be taken in context. This is not something that we make everybody else do. We've made significant repairs to Schertz Parkway, and we didn't go back and complain about the businesses there or talk about how it impacts the businesses on Schertz Parkway when we did Schertz Parkway from Live Oak all the way up to Woodland Oaks Hill. It was a road that needed to get redone, and that's the same thing that we're doing down on Main Street. We're fixing infrastructure that has been neglected for a long, long time.
Any other comments? Just to be clear, Main Street was part of the budget plan, so we were able to discuss, have a good discussion on that. All right, we'll move on to roll call confirmation. Our city secretary, Ms. Dennis, will provide us a roll call confirmation for agenda items 1 through 6 and discussion items 7 through 9. Ms. Dennis?
Consent agenda items 1 through 6. A motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, seconded by Councilmember Scagliola. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes, no one voted no. Motion passed 6-0. Item number 7, resolution number 22R63. Motion was made by Councilmember Scagliola, seconded by Councilmember Davis. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes, no one voted no. Motion passed 6-0. Item number 8, resolution number 22R76. A motion was made by Councilmember Scagliola, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes, no one voted no. Motion passed 6-0. Item number 9, resolution number 22R82, authorizing a preliminary maximum tax rate of 0.499. A motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, seconded by Councilmember Dalla. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Brown voted yes. Councilmember Scagliola voted no. Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. All right, we have a couple of closed sessions. Item number 11, the city council will meet in closed session in accordance with section 551.074 of the Texas Governmental Code, personal matters, to discuss the direction to fill the city manager vacancy. And item number 12, the city council will meet in closed session in accordance with section 551.074 of the Texas Governmental Code, personnel, to deliberate and evaluate the performance and duties of the city manager, Dr. Brown. The time is now 7:17. We stand in recess. Well, we will reconvene after our discussion and deliberation. The time is now 8:41. We reconvene into our regular session after our discussion and deliberation regarding our closed session. Item number 13, reference agenda item number 11 regarding the city manager vacancy. Start time was 7:20, end time was 7:31. No action required. Item number 14, in reference to item number 12, city manager evaluation. Start time was 7:32, end time was 8:36. No action required. Item number 15, update on the Beck landfill permit application. Information packets were provided to council and available for public viewing at our home site, Schertz.com. So we'll move on to announcements. Any further announcements from our city manager, Dr. Brown?
I just wanted to thank the staff for the great work they've done on the budget, particularly James Walters, Sarah Gonzalez, but all the department heads sitting out there. Thank you so much for your great work, and appreciate it, and look forward to a good budget coming out of this. So thanks very much.
Okay, council, any possible updates or information requested from staff? Council, any possible items you'd like to place on the future agenda? Okay, announcements by council members. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward?
I attended the budget meeting and the ribbon cutting at Taco Palenque, and that was some great food, and it was a huge turnout for Taco Palenque.
Councilmember Davis?
Oh, yeah, again, shout out to Doc Brown and the staff for the budget retreat. The budget meeting was very good, great information, and I think they have a good plan going forward. And I also attended the TSAC meeting last week. That's it.
Councilmember Whitaker?
I also attended the budget retreat last Friday, and excellent lunch from Tropical Smoothie, thank you, Cafe, and the ribbon cutting at Taco Palenque, and excellent food. Excellent. I was very impressed with their just the family-friendly environment, the fact that it's a family-built business. It feels like a great place for Schertz, and I hope folks go there. That's it.
Councilmember Dalla?
Just the budget retreat on Friday. Got through most of it before I had to leave, and thank you to Dr. Brown and the staff for putting all that together. I think we got a good budget moving forward. And then finally, just thank you to the 5 employees that get their 20-year recognition tonight, and thank you for your many years of service to our city.
Councilmember Scagliola?
Yeah, I thought the budget retreat was very comprehensive, did a good job. Also went to Taco Palenque's, the ribbon cutting, and I think it might be election season because there are a whole lot of politicians and state representatives even that showed up for that one. It was a really quite large crowd. That's all I have, sir.
Councilmember Brown?
Well, I missed all the fun at Taco Palenque, but the budget meeting was much more productive. And again, thanks to the staff, a lot of great work there, and makes our decision process a lot easier.
All right, the time is 8:44. We stand adjourned.